Hello, this is part 3 of the KMM project for rehkmp, Rehearsal Pro KMP, rehkmp. We're in reh iOS, and we're going to actually start doing the work now of replacing the original core data persistence with simple storage of JSON, hopefully delegating out to Kotlin so that that code is shared. But for now, we're just going to see what the challenge is with doing that. So if you saw the previous video, probably you didn't. But anyway, to summarize, I've gone through and disabled all of the places in which a line set was being persisted using core data, basically by moving the line set core data code out into the dead folder. And these breakpoints were everywhere there was stuff commented out and disabled. So the commenting out and disabling it achieve the ability for us to build, basically breaking the persistence of line sets. So the app works, but we don't persist line sets. And what we're going to do is we're going to see where it first tries to persist the line sets and see how we're going to rewrite that. So here's our iPhone simulator, iPhone 12. Let's run the app and see which breakpoint gets hit first. Okay, there we go. Boom. This is actually a previous breakpoint that I just set. We don't need that. Let's continue on to the next one. Here we go. Okay. So here's the commented out original code. Line set was replaced by the Kotlin Objective-C generated equivalent of a Kotlin data class. And obviously this Xcode doesn't know anything about that because this is new. And here's where it tried to do all of its storage via core data, as we can see in this file. So what does this class do? This class scripts scenes JSON. Seems to be that what this does is it takes the JSON received from the backend call, parses it, and converts its information to store in core data. We're not going to do that. We're just going to save the JSON. That's it. But our plan was to only replace the core data persistence. This looks like the persistence of script scenes. So this could be expanding the scope for us here. So maybe we can still do the script scenes, but just do the line sets as JSON. So we can keep this old code. That's what we're going to see. Let's go back into legacy core data. So script scenes, JSON. This looks like a part of script. Well, let's back up so we can give you some context of what's going on here. This is the call that got us to where we are now. This is part of mySceneSynchronizer. mySceneSynchronizer is a background process. There's two, MyScripts and mySceneSynchronizer. That, in fact, let's just start over. Let's back all the way up to where this gets created, just so we can see. Let's put a breakpoint here and restart the app so we can get some context here. There we go. This gives us a little bit of visibility through all the asynchronous jumps that we have going on. All right. The app auto logged in, since we already have an account login set. It's handling the login, and when it handles the login, it basically says, look, what's called main synchronizer, singleton, start timers. What does that do? Start timers, main synchronizer, again, singleton. There are two sub-synchronizers here, singletons. Script synchronizer, scene synchronizer, and they both get started. That's it. All right. We're at the start of the scene synchronizer, so I guess the script synchronizer is already fired off. But it looks like the only one that we care about at this point is the scene synchronizer. So remember, there's my scenes and there's my scripts. So this is my scenes. Scenes are dependent on a script. So scenes belong to a script, obviously. So what happens? When we start, this is the very starting of the synchronizer. It goes out to the network and it gets scene lists. I could go through the rigmarole of all these calls. It's not really obvious, but this is an asynchronous get to a backend API. The response is going to come back, this is JSON. How do we know it's JSON? Because I just commented this stuff out. And as you can see, really it's just JSON is the response here. So we get a response, what's called scene lists. We go out to parse this asynchronously. So this is dispatched on the main queue. This basically just sets up a event loop asynchronous call. And I think we're here. Let's continue on, right? Oh no, sorry, we're here. Yeah. This one is just show you context of where we are. All right. We continue, and here we are. Because it was an event-based asynchronous call, we went back to the main UI. Event loop picked up the async continuation, and now we're in it. And in fact, we can see the actual async continuation came all the way up here. Ooh, look at this guy. Holy moly. Save server scenes in group to database. Wow. Wow. This is inside the parser, which is inside the synchronizer. Okay, so let's step through. So my scenes parser, take this raw JSON and parse it. And once we've parsed it, this again looks like a continuation. Result, say that we've saved our scenes once, and there's some kind of notification going on here. All right, so the meat of this is in the parse. What does this do? This calls script fetch shared instance, again, singleton. Script fetch save server scenes and groups to DB, JSON. Now, eventually, none of this is going to get saved in the database. But I'm going to bite off more than I can chew right now. So we're going to let this continue on its merry way, which is essentially doing all of this stuff. So again, wow, amazing, isn't it? Take a look at this. Where's the JSON? So here, 2DB, whatever that means, save server and scene groups, 2DB. It's almost like this is typeless. JSON is an array of cloud scene list. Is that actually JSON? It's being called JSON. That doesn't look like JSON. Cloud scene list, string any, array. It's just an array of any string? What? What is this? This is the name. String is the name. No. Failing to read Swift syntax. This is a dictionary. This is saying the key is a string, the type is an any. We're just aliasing this. There's no type semantics here at all. We're just basically saying any dictionary keyed by string, we're calling a cloud scene list. Beautiful. And then our variable is called JSON. It's not JSON. It's a dictionary keyed by strings. I mean, I understand semantically that's what JSON is. Well, not really, because a sub-object is going to be an any. Well, I guess they're any's, right? This is a tree. So another dictionary inside the dictionary just makes it a tree. Wow. Okay. Clever. Cloud scene list, JSON. This object was constructed with the JSON. but that's not JSON. We take JSON, we pass it to save server scenes and groups, which is a next step array something. It's just an array. Oh, wow, is that? But that's a dictionary. Wait a minute, I'm confused. Yeah, this is an array. Oh, well, it's an array of name value pairs, which is essentially what a dictionary is. It's not technically a dictionary. So this is just an array of name value pairs. And those values are any. And the names are strings. And that's as much static typing as, I mean, this might as well just be a dynamic language at this point. Okay, I'm getting a little attitude-ish here. Let's tone it down, tone it down. Save server scenes and groups to DB, okay. Wow, look at this. Temporary context, managed objects, allocate a managed object context, init with concurrency. This is all this object relational mapper stuff that's needed here. Parent context, temporary context, manage object context. Wow, what a mess. Yeah, I'm going to reduce a lot of this. All right, perform block. There's a lot of development that went into this. A lot of development went into this. Completely unnecessary. Wow, 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 look at that. I don't think this does anything in the app itself. I think this is just persistence. Yeah, it's intense. There's an actual dictionary, right? Huh. Wow. Wow. That's a lot. Okay. Let's get back to where we were here. So this is where he comes down after he did a lot of other work. He says, now we're down to the line sets themselves. So notice in an OO fashion, we have to create an object to call a procedure. We can't just call a procedure. I mean, I'm familiar with that. It's almost like this is Java, but it's not Java. This is Objective-C. So this is older code. I think this stuff up here is the newer code. Yeah. So this is added later. It's MyScenes parser. We can see Swift here. So it's calling it old code. Created by Lemior. Okay, and if we look at this JSON, I mean, what do we got going on here? Line scene for cloud line scenes, cloud line sets for line sets. I bet these are just private methods called as part of this overall method. I mean, it's just a function or a procedure. It's one procedure, but we've got to create an object to call a procedure. Objective-C should be backward compatible with C. I should be able to just define a procedure and call it and pass what I need. Anyway, all right, so this object gets created, this utility object, script scenes JSON. We allocate it and we init it with, wow. I think this is why people don't like Objective-C anymore. Look at how cryptic that is. Type, pointer, name equals an allocation instruction followed by an init instruction. Well, okay. Let's take a look at that init. What does it do? it just saves it. It just sets a member. This could simply be passed as an argument to this operation. Completely unnecessary, any of this. This procedure, this could be passed. And I bet it calls, I bet these are called only within here. No? No? Yeah, 2 matches. I bet there's 1 call to this. There it is. Is it even within a loop? Yes, it's in a for loop. So it needs to be called multiple times. And I bet this one there are no calls within this code, which means this is a member function that gets called from the outside. Let's find it. Line scene synchronizer calls this guy. So that doesn't even get called within there. Look at that. It has to allocate. Same thing here. I've got to allocate an object. Once I've allocated the object with some weird local initialization between the allocation and the call, I then call this method. There it is in the H file. There it actually is. That's it. That's all it does. It just does some parsing. This just can be a function. I mean, what does this class do? This class does nothing except hold on to a couple of functions you can simply pass arguments to. So the allocation of this class is completely superfluous. It's OO for OO's sake. Perfect example. I don't think it's even necessary here. It's certainly not necessary in Swift. In Swift, these are just top-level functions. It shouldn't even be necessary in Objective-C. Okay, back to the task at hand. So, we had to comment all this out. Let's uncomment it out and see why the compiler chokes. In fact, this is usually easier using if-defs. Let's do an end if here. And let's do an if 0, if false. Actually, in Objective-C, it might have to be if 0. If this was Swift, I would have to say if false. That's, oh, no, if false works. Okay. So stop again. Let's do an if true. And the compiler should choke. There we go. Value for key, JSON line set creation date. So we're not actually doing anything with the line set. We're getting the creation date from the line set. So notice this. Cloud line set, this is within the for loop, coming from self JSON value for key line sets. Okay. So, and this JSON, as we know, this is an NS dictionary, but it started out as an array. All right. But, okay, so this isn't a big deal here. We can just grab the JSON, but this is a bigger deal. This is where we're actually creating the line set, create from JSON. This is what we want to change. line set, create from JSON, script, context, context. This cloud line set is the actual JSON. So this is right here where it gets stored. This update's in existing, so we got CRUD, we got create, we got update, and delete. CRUD, create, update, delete. So what I want to do instead, so this predicate, a predicate is an if condition. This is basically saying if the creation date equals this JSON attribute, so this is the synchronization part, we're comparing dates. If the date equals, we're going to filter the array, local line sets, filtered by where the date is equal, where the creation date is the same. That's how we're matching. We don't have IDs on the line sets. We're basically saying if the creation date is identical, it's the same line set. So we're filtering our local line sets from our cloud line sets. And our local line sets are what? Where are the local line sets? Context, blah, blah, blah. Where the hell did this come from? Four matches. There it is. This is a database query. Well, a core data query, which translates into SQL select line sets where script creation date equals. Okay. Okay. This is the CRUD. This is the essential thing right here. This is kind of the centerpiece. Pretty much if I get this, I will have it nailed. So this isn't going to fly because right now we're not going to be storing anything locally, but let's ignore that for now. This is going to be a no op, or it's going to return an empty. Although what's interesting is a compiler. I would have expected the compiler to choke on that. It doesn't, because up above here I have type aliased line set to now be equal to the Kotlin class. I still have that, don't I? Yeah, I still have that Kotlin stuff I did originally when I was going to use SQLite. That's the point. You know what? I'm going to leave it in place for now. Huh. Or is it just going to get in the way? It might just get in the way. Might be better if I move the dead code. Yeah, I think I need to. I'm not going to do the SQLite thing. I think that's a mistake. That's a major mistake. Let's see where we are on this branch. Yeah. Dev line set F. So here's where we moved the legacy line set source, the core data source, to dead. Actually, that's a git show. Let's just do a get log. Name status. Okay. So here's all our core data. Objective-C, Swift, core data. We moved the line set into dead. Broke the compiler. Then we had to comment out the actual headers in the dead folder because they're still getting picked up by that bridging header. Then this is where we went crazy with commenting out all references to line set, but not just commenting out references, but making aliases to the Kotlin stuff. And then this is the established database call. So basically these top two commits I don't want. These top two commits I don't want. I certainly don't want this because I'm not establishing the database. And I'm only going to want some of this stuff. I'm not going to want the bulk of it. This is that commit, right? Comment out, replace all references, yeah. But don't I also have the type aliasing in here? Let's see. Yes. This I don't need, because I'm not doing that. So I need some of this commit, but not all of this commit. Yep. All right, we're gonna make a new branch here. Let's see where we're at right now. What do we got going on? That's just resorting, I don't care about that. Create object in context, line set. This was a fix where I think I can do a stash. I think I can keep this. This was a fix that basically said I don't need the line set for line scene. That's okay. That's obviously this change that I just made. That's okay. What do we got here? Line set reader table header view. This I re-enabled because I realized that I could just reference by name display. But I can't re-enable that because I'm now going to be using JSON directly. So I don't want to keep that. But I think if I stash it and unstash it, I'll be okay. And this is the synchronizer thing where it's like, yeah, we don't even need this. This is kind of ridiculous. So I can stash this. I'm going to stash this stuff. Let's clear our stash. Okay, we're going to git stash this. Good. Now we're going to back up. We're going to check out. Well, we're going to check out this. We're going to reset to this. This to this. It's like when we teach windsurfing. Words never to say this, that, there, here, there. You have to be specific. So we're going to check out A26. We're going to reset to D1 because these first two commits look good. Or we just cherry. I actually wanted to put comments in here anyway. I wanted to add comments that this breaks the build. So actually, I'm gonna go ahead and check out main and then we're gonna cherry pick off of line set F. So we're gonna cherry pick head -1, -2, -3. Okay. All right. So let's do a checkout main. Checkout main or KMP iOS. All right. Get checkout -b. We're going to do a whole new thing. Dev line set as JSON. A. We're starting from scratch. We're going to do a git cherry pick. What was the name of this branch? Dev line set F. dev line set f head 3, head -3. Boom. That's where we moved everything to dead. And we're going to amend this commit. And we're going to put a comment in here. Breaks build. Because we generally don't do that on commits. But we know we're doing it. Do we say breaks or break? Break build. Move legacy line set source file to dead. All right, I'm going to get log. Now, I like to preserve the original date. And since we did a cherry pick, it's going to put today's date on here. But this is an old commit, so we got to do a get am date. Amending the date to what it was originally. There we go, break build. Move legacy line set source to dead. Okay. And actually that resorting that I did, let's take a look at the dead folder here. Yeah, flags, functions, JSON, sorting, naming, that's all fine. Okay, so we moved all the line set stuff to there, good. Now we're gonna cherry pick the commit above it. Oh, let's push first. Get push su GitLab head. We're just putting our dev branches on GitLab, not on GitHub. All right, looks good. We're going to cherry pick the one above it. Sounds good. And we want to amend this and also say this also breaks the build. So we got 2 commits in a row that are build breaking. And we do them as separate commits so that we can see the comment changes separate from the renames. So if we do a git show, let's do a git show ahead -1. This was just the moves, just moves. We don't actually see any code changes. These are move/renames. Okay. Git commit amend. We're going to say the same thing. Break build. We're using a verb because the commit, we could say build broken, but we're saying comment out, which is a verb, so we're also saying break build. All right, get log. And we want to preserve this date. Get am date. And now if we do a get show, this is where we see after the renames and moves. So it's nice and clear. We can see where the actual code is commented out. But the question is, does this will now break the build? Which is what we want. It's breaking the build, but it's also making sure it doesn't pick up any of the old line set definitions. All the old core data line set stuff is now neutralized. So let's push that, get push, GitLab. All right. And now, this is where it gets fun. So our build should be just totally broken. We're gonna run into totally broken stuff. Yep, can't find line set, da 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 da. Now I'm gonna reinstate, not reinstate, but I'm gonna cherry pick. Cherry pick. The one where we fix the build. Okay. This fixes the build, right? Get log, get log. However, this fixes the build based on the Kotlin KMP stuff being in place, which I'm going to right now go and remove. So this will actually not fix the build. Like for now, this will actually fix the build. Well, yeah, let's see, fix the build. but I'm going to unfix it. Yeah, and this actually depended on the later commit. But see, what's going to happen is we're not doing the established database. So here we go. We're going back to the parent directory. This is the parent directory. Just for those of you who didn't watch the other long-winded monologue-y videos. Rehearsal project, the Kotlin Multiplatform project is here. We were just basically down in the iOS app part here. That's what we got over here. This is just iOS. So from the point of view of Xcode, Xcode only thinks this directory exists. It's unaware of the parent directory. It doesn't care about the parent directory. And what happens is rehearsal, KMP, the parent directory above, let's go up one, right? In a standard KMP project, these are named Android app, iOS app, and shared. But I rename these so that they sort together instead of spread out in here, and they're also unique. So if I have multiple projects open, I know exactly which one I'm looking at. If there's just iOS app, there could be 5 different iOS apps for 5 different projects. This one's for rehearsal. So, but otherwise, this is pretty standard, right? If you look at a shared directory, you're going to see source directories like this: Android main, Android test, common main, common test, right? That's what KMP does. This is the iOS app, which from Xcode's point of view, you can see it's got all the Xcode goodness in here. This is the original repo of the original Xcode project before it was KMP. It's been made a submodule here, but it doesn't know it's a submodule. It just thinks I'm the top level directory of the Xcode project. So this actually relies on any Kotlinized stuff, KMP stuff, being injected in it, which is what happens as part of this build. This build at the top level that's going to build Android, iOS, and shared, the actual KMP top level project. For the shared stuff that is needed by iOS, that it depends on, this shared project gets compiled into its own module, right? If we look in here and we see the project, these are actually separate modules, right? Rehearsal iOS is a module, Rehearsal Android app is a module, and shared Risha is a module. It'll build this module, it'll take the results of this module, which is converting Kotlin code, at least the interfaces to the compiled Kotlin code, as Objective-C classes. It will inject that into the CocoaPods project here called, which should be somewhere in here called, well, doesn't actually add it in this pods directory, but it adds it as a CocoaPod. It's in here as a CocoaPod. Anyway, trust me, it works. I'm not going to walk all the way through that. See somebody else's Kotlin Multiplatform tutorial if you want to understand how these sorts of things work. We're just assuming you're already there. Okay, what was my point? My point was at the top level project, we get a log, we see we're on the dev SQLDelight branch. So the main branch that we came off of over here, so here we are off of main. We're only three commits after main here. This KMP iOS is compatible with KMP over here. So if we back up, we just ignore all of this. We're not doing any of this. This is on the KMP side. This is installing SQLDelight, defining a database, creating some SQL code, doing all kinds of stuff. We're not going to do any of this. Instead, we're going to write Kotlin stuff to manage the JSON, but that's not going to use any of this. So this branch we're going to keep intact. And there's nothing here that's important. The fact that there's a submodule commit, that's irrelevant. We're just going to go back to KMP. So let's check out KMP. So we just basically went back in time as if we never did the SQLDelight stuff. So the established database, gone, right? And that was actually added to, kind of nice when you think about it, because now we're not adding any iOS platform specific stuff to solve this problem, which is great. If we look at the actual iOS main, there's nothing here. Like that database creation was needed if we were going to use SQLDelight. We're not doing that. And this is a garbage thing from the original template. So these iOS main, iOS test, like these subfolders don't even need to exist at this point. Really what we're saying is common main and Android main, or the common classes and the Android classes are all we need. iOS is only depending on common. There's no Kotlin, there's no iOS specific Kotlin code at this time. We're doing all of the iOS specific code, we're keeping it in Swift. Even the new bridging code that's being added is in Swift, it's not in Kotlin. Even though Kotlin provides a way to do Kotlin against things like UIKit and stuff like that, I just don't see the value of that. If you're writing against a native iOS API, what's the value of writing that in Kotlin? That API is never going to be designed for Kotlin. It's not going to be based on Kotlin. It's always going to be in the mindset of Apple's Objective-C and Swift point of view. And you're literally going against the grain saying, I only want to think in one programming language, which is Kotlin. So I want to call UIKit or PDF kit or whatever kit from Kotlin code that the Kotlin compiler is going to compile into the necessary Objective-C interface to talk to Apple. Why? That's gilding the lily at this point. But the common code, the actual code shared between Android and iOS, by means, absolutely do all of that in Kotlin, right? Because it's common code. Anything under iOS is not common code. This is irrelevant to Android. Why am I going to write iOS code in Kotlin when Kotlin is never going to be a development language for iOS? Apple is never going to let that happen. So this is entirely from the point of view of Kotlin as a multi-platform solution, not Kotlin as a platform-specific solution. So it doesn't make sense to say, I'm going to write iOS-specific code in Kotlin. That's just never going to fly. It's always going to be a hack, and it's a hack here. So making Kotlin interfaces to UIKit, PDFKit, and other Apple Framework libraries it's an unnecessary hack. It's why I don't do it. It's why I don't use expected and actual. So take that, JetBrains. We love you anyway. Sort of, not really. Okay. What am I doing? I'm suddenly off in the weeds. Oh, so we just undid all the SQLite stuff. Now, of course, the already compiled Rasha pod that's sitting in Xcode has to be rebuilt. So let's just go ahead and rebuild this. This is going to build, this actually builds what iOS uses as well, even though I'm deploying this on Android, because it's going to build the shared project. And when the shared project gets built, is it actually working? Yeah, there it is. When the shared project actually gets built, it also generates the Xcode pod as needed. I don't actually have to build this for Xcode, as far as I can tell. And this is the placeholder UI for Android. Doesn't have a full UI yet, so it's just lightweight compose stuff for that. Not much there. It's really the internal logic, the business logic that's currently written in Kotlin. Okay, so now it should have generated. I'm looking at run. Let's see what build looks like. Yeah, it would have generated the pod and shoved the pod in there. I mean, we'll know right away as soon as we try to build Xcode. So let's do this. So we're going to get a different set of errors. It's not going to give us this error because this established database was necessary when we added the SQLite prep on the Kotlin side. That's no longer there. But also, we're not providing the Kotlinized data class, which this particular commit that fixes the broken build is designed to deal with. So we're going to get a different set of errors. Let's see what happens. Pop, 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 pop. Building 1 of 4. Boom. There we go. That's exactly what we expected. So this was part of the hack. Beautiful. We don't need this hack either. Yeah. Is that the meant? Exactly. This hack should not be necessary. So let's try to get rid of the. This is a really bad, nasty thing I had to add to the bridging header. This is the, well, not the only way, but this is the way that I was able to figure out how to get The KMP shared Objective-C header that it generates, by the way, let's take a look at it. That's not it, that's the SQL. We change branches, this file is gone. This is the file. This is an old Vim buffer. It ain't there. Oh, there it is. There we go. This is the header. This is the header that Kotlin Multiplatform compiles its common Kotlin code from this project, Rasha, everything defined in here, needed by iOS, so nothing in Android, right? It would only be the stuff in common and only in the stuff in iOS main. And as we can see, there's nothing in iOS main. So all the stuff in Kotlin main, so this stuff, app state, app value, data script, UI element, UIneta, user info, all this stuff, right? Solid common code Kotlin. All of these definitions get compiled, I believe they get compiled into native code on iOS, but in order for iOS to use any of it from Objective-C or Swift, it has to be able to interface these functions, these classes, and this is what we get. This is what KMP generates. It is a singular Objective-C header. And here's everything that it depends on. It's just all foundation stuff, which is great. That makes this a pretty thin from a dependency standpoint. I like that. And you can see all the Kotlin names come over as Swift names, which is kind of nice. But in Objective-C, you don't get that. In Objective-C, you get this prefix name because there's no namespaces. I kind of like, one of the things I kind of like about KMP, especially since I'm using a functional style. So see app flow. This is the main app logic, by the way, written in Kotlin. And this is now the main app logic for iOS. At least it's the startup logic. So originally iOS had its own logic for its main. It now delegates this so that we have the same main logic that drives the minimal UI you saw on Android, driving the full UI on iOS is going through here. And this is functional. These are procedures, meaning these are side effectful functions. These are not pure. The functional stuff is organized so that pure functions are here, pure data structures and functions are here, and side effectful procedures are here, even though, yeah, Kotlin calls it a function, but I call them procedures. I don't call something a function unless it's actually what most people call a pure function. No side effects. Only operating on its inputs, determining its output. It's a transformation, it's a calculation from an input to an output. It depends on nothing in the environment, no globals, and it's referentially transparent, which means you could replace it with a table. The actual execution could basically say, this input will always map to that output in all conditions. That's a pure function, but I'm embracing the terminology of only calling pure functions as functions, and when they're not, when they're side effects, meaning they depend on something in the environment, they mutate state outside of themselves in some way, and they're not referentially transparent, that's a procedure. And that's what Lisp and Scheme calls all of their functions. They don't call them functions, they call them procedures, because Scheme is not a, even though you can program functionally in it, which I do, it's not pure by any means. It's not Haskell, it's not Elm, it's not Rock. It doesn't enforce purity, so it's probably safer to assume that its procedures are procedures. They're potentially side effectful, even when they're written as pure. They don't make that distinction. Side note, I am doing my own computing language and computing language. I think my brain's starting to overload. Programming language. And in that, I plan on actually distinguishing functions from procedures. So for now, I'm not going the pure route of only allowing pure functions with some kind of effect system like monads or Scala-like effect system, which I think is also monadic. I'm kind of talking out of my side here, not knowing too much about it. But instead of managing effects through that or the platform approach that Rock takes, for now, I'm at least making the distinction between a function, which is declared with a different syntax than a procedure, is the functions are pure, their purity will be enforced, and then procedures will be where side effects are allowed. So anyway, tangent note. So here we are at flow. How did I get started on all this? I don't know. Oh, I remember. So one of the nice things about Kotlin Multiplatform is it treats this file, which is actually not in a unique package. You can see that the package is the same here, right? The package is side. The package is side, which is the folder from the Kotlin, from the Android project point of view. But Kotlin Multiplatform will actually create a namespace for this file, and any freestanding functions become functions called within this namespace, which is actually, what does it become? Does it become a class declaration? So this Swift name, let's actually see if we can find this inter app. Okay. Yeah, interesting. So remember, this is an Objective-C header. What this basically does is it says, look, take this file, appflow.kt, make an Objective-C interface, and as you can see, these are just functions. There's no class here. This is an interface of functions. This is effectively just a module, right? That's all we're doing. It's a namespace. So there's no object instance. There's no constructor. These are not methods on an object. These are not methods on a class. You know, obviously everything it defines here has some kind of base thing that's just necessary for Objective-C. But from the point of view of the Kotlin code, these are freestanding functions. And this guy wraps it. So in Objective-C, I would actually have to call this interface and act as if these are methods on an interface. But these aren't called from Objective-C anyway. If these are called from the iOS side, they are called entirely in Swift. And in Swift, it gets this gets this name, which is kind of the name of the file without the dot, in full Pascal case instead of .kt. But the function name is preserved exactly as is. Oh, look at that. That's interesting. It actually munges the parameter name into the name of the function, but when you call it, you don't call it that way. Oh, that's because Swift name. I can see it there. Yeah, so it's Swift syntax. It's basically saying this is the actual function name. This is the first required parameter name. And I've been kind of extreme in these functions. You'll notice for the most part, I try to go the route of a singular argument in and a singular argument out. This whole app mutant thing, which at some point I may describe. Anyway, we're off on a tangent here. But the whole point was, this is the header that gets generated. This is what's seen from the iOS side. But Objective-C, this header, is available to every bit of Swift code, no matter how it's organized in here. So I have everything organized into these folders. I've got legacy code. I've got new code, right? And I make the same separation on this side. This is from a Swift standpoint. You can see these are pure functions. Pure, pure, pure. No side effects. This is a pipe operator. This is kind of nice. Wish I could do this in Kotlin. Again, more pure functions. More pure functions, right? These are side effectful functions. Dispatch on the main queue, obviously. This is the actual implementation of the table of platform functions. This is new UI that's been added. This is what's called the platform blob. Explain that at some point. This is UI Node. I explain that at some point. Script. I did this for generating new scripts for testing, for doing some stress testing. So this is all new code, not legacy code. This is a facade that's needed for Objective-C to call into things. Yeah, so this is an Objective-C facade necessary to get at, and here we can see right here, this is an example of one of these converted functions. So @mutant_kt is @mutant_kt, like that. This is actually one of the ways I get around the problem of Objective-C being able to call into this header. Because the problem is this header does not become available to the Objective-C code that's in legacy. And I wasn't able to figure out a way to include that header. And this header, by the way, also does not get copied into the iOS subdirectory. It gets only used, it gets somehow merged into the pod file, but the header's gone and it can't be included if I actually do a find. So let's go up to the KMP project. Let's do a find.name reh ssh.h, right? There's 3 instances of this. This is where it sticks it in this is where it builds it for the different targets. So there we can see 2 iOS targets gets generated, simulator, non-simulator. And then it copies it into the CocoaPods framework. But this is still sitting at here, at this level. Remember, this Xcode project isn't aware of any of this stuff. From its point of view, everything it needs is within itself. And at some point, this CocoaPod framework gets copied down. In fact, let's do a find for Rasha framework. It's still not sure where this goes. Let's just do a Rasha star. See what we're going to get a lot when we do this. So there we go. Yeah, so there's a spec, and then this is it. So this whatever the shared stuff that gets generated for iOS gets shoved into this, which looks, well, that's a config. So let's take a look at that. So this is the only thing that's available from the Xcode project side without going up to a parent directory. We're looking at pods. Notice there isn't a subdirectory for Rasha in here. It goes into here, target support files. This is some of the AutoMagic done. There it is. So this is some of the AutoMagical stuff done by KMP. Now this is an XC config file. What does that look like? Let's open it. Let's see, is it readable? Oh, look. Oh, there we go. Huh. Ha. Ah, this is how it gets up there. Maybe this is the solution. This is how you could get to the header. This is where it tells the iOS project to go look for itself up in its parent directory right here. Pods target source root. This just brings us up to, so this tells iOS to go up to here, which is a sibling directory. It says go up. Obviously go pods root, right? Pods root is here. Go up 1, go up 2, whoa. Go up 1, go up 2, and come over here. So target root. Framework, this is where it finds the framework. So it finds the actual built framework here. Okay, so this thing shoves a config file down in there. It says, come over here to get the actual compiled framework. So in theory, I could probably add an include directive somewhere in here. See other LD flags? I mean, I obviously can't do it to this file because this file gets generated, but there's probably something in Gradle where I could probably do something like, you know, C flags, CXX flags, well, that's C++, probably C flags, and I could say something like, you know, dot I, and find that header file, wherever it is, one of these headers, which actually gets shoved in the CocoaPods directory. Didn't we see it? Framework headers. There. Framework search paths, build CocoaPods framework. Yeah, it'd be something like, I might even be able to just get away with just saying Rashad.a. But when I actually go to compile any of the Objective-C, and if I just say include that, it doesn't find it. So, okay, so maybe there's a better way to do that rather than using the terrible build config. Well, I learned something there. I don't want to save that. But basically what I was saying before is I either have to stuff something in this facade to delegate, or I went up to the bridging header, this guy, this global God header, and you can see I go up to the sibling directory, this is basically what I did. I just pointed it at this. So there is some kind of config that sets up some environment variables that'll get us to here. And then I can include that. Effectively the same thing. The difference is this is hard-coded. So the iOS project is now dependent on this hard code, whereas the other way, this is injected as part of the build process down into that pod config file. Shouldn't be using pods anyway. Pods are old. I started this project over a year ago, and now the better way is to do a pure framework, but that's a lot of work to figure it out. As usual, build stuff is a mess. So I'm just going to leave it be. Okay, back to where we were. Don't need this. Let's try the build, see what happens. Okay. Line set. Okay. So this is where a change of strategy for the commit we're on right now, which we cherry picked. So we cherry picked a commit that depended on Kotlin providing its own data class for line set. We're not going to do that. We're not going to have a data class. Unless I want to, what if I just make it, what if I make line set, it's basically just JSON, which from the standpoint of Xcode is just being treated as it's being treated as JSON. So can I just declare the JSON on the Kotlin side, which is really what I want to do. So some kind of Kotlin. So rather than a SQL delight type generating this class, really what I want is on the pure side. See this guy, data script? This was a new version of the script class defined in Kotlin as a data class. So maybe what I want to do is I want to say data line set. It's just JSON. So I just call it data JSON. Do I even need to call it data? Can I just call it JSON? Do I even need to type alias the damn thing? Can I just make it a string? I mean, that would be interesting. Well, what is JSON if not a string? I mean, it's either a string or it's a dictionary. This guy is already getting JSON as a dictionary. We saw that. Let's get rid of this. We don't care. All right. Don't care about this. Don't care about that. Let's just close all these other tabs. Let's just rebuild so we can get a fresh look at this. Okay. What is this? Oh, what? We shouldn't have established database here. Oh, we're going to do a reset on this anyway. Okay. Get log. This was all legacy changes. So why does this care about established database? There is no established database. I reverted that. There's no established database in platform functions. There's no established database in the Android platform. So why does iOS app platform want an established database? I think it's confused. Let's clean the build folder. It's like it's again, cache invalidation. Feels like it's dependent on something from a previous build. Cancel, it's in the building process. How do we even know it's building? Oh, we got this little thing up here. Building should just be like a giant thing. You gotta find, okay. Yep, I was right. Failed to find precompiled header. Failed to, oh, just because it failed to do all this other stuff. Yeah. Cache invalidation. All right. Bridging header, bridging header. That bridging header. It's all over the place. Okay. I think we can start dealing with what we're going to deal with. So, let's look at the first thing, line scene. Expected type. There is no type. That's because core data properties. Here we go. Line set. Line set. Somewhere in here is where we, okay, let's just do a show. Get show. This. Oh, I did it in the bridging header. This is where I actually did it. Why did I do it in the bridging header? Because that's where I pulled this from. I might have to do this in the bridging header. Let's just make it easier on ourselves for now. Whoops. We don't have that anymore. Actually, you know, this doesn't necessarily mean it's SQLite. Let's keep that in place for now. We're just going to make this NS string. Just going to make this raw. I mean, honestly, what I should do is I should do the same thing that that was in that Swift code, where it just did a type alias of, well, this is Objective-C. Let's say NS dictionary. Instead NS string. It's JSON, it's a dictionary. And let's put a big to do here. Big to do. For now, it's just JSON as a dictionary. Okay, let's try that. Okay, got a little further. Line set. So is it because it doesn't, must be of object type? And is NS dictionary not an object type? Oh, unknown type NS dictionary. Isn't there a thing called an NS dictionary? Do I have to do a big import to get there? I might be able to put this in core data properties in the inside line scene itself. Although really it should go into script. So there's line scene, there's scene group, there's line set.h. Yeah, this is what needs to go away. This guy is in the dead. So this is why it was still getting picked up. I may not even need that other commit. Yeah. This is now dead. Do I have any of the line set stuff here? I mean, honestly, I could just define the line set here, but really line sets belong to scripts. So let's take, I'm sure that's actually one of the errors. Yeah. One of the errors, there we go, core data properties, okay. So really line set should be defined here. NS set line set. Can we just define it here? And there's line scenes, there's line sets. Core data class, what does it include? Core data constants foundation. See, this is where it originally had line set. I think I'm going to add line set here. Let's do that. Yeah. Type def NS dictionary line set. So we do that. Okay. Still get this weird thing. It's neither an Objective-C type. Line set is an int pointer? What? Maybe my knowledge of, well no, there's NS dictionary right there. NS array of NS dictionary, NS dictionary. Maybe I have to put parentheses around it. An array of a dictionary, an array of dictionaries. Line set pointer would be the same as NS dictionary pointer array. How is that different than this? Does it not like the type def? NS dictionary pointer, NS array line set pointer. If I substitute NS dictionary in there, how is that any different than this? I mean, literally, that basically means that type def is not what it's meant to be. I should be able to say NS dictionary like that. Yeah, see, it sucked that down. But if I say line set, and I did a type def up here of line set, and I don't have it in the, I don't do this. It's just JSON. Yagni. Huh. Okay. This is an example of what I don't need. I really should have been able to do this in one place. But I don't need it, because script is already basically saying what line set is. Let's do that. Okay. See, now we can't find it. Is it because line seen can't find it? Why can't we find it? We see where script is. Jump to definition. But we don't see where this is. Because this type def probably is not digging on it. Huh. Well, we did this in script for Objective-C. Let's just, for goof's sake, try this. Type alias, NS dictionary, line set. This seems redundant than with the other guy. All right, let's get rid of this. Care about that, don't care about that. I hate how it opens all these files. Line scene, we're getting rid of that. And we don't care about that, we don't care about that, don't care about that, we don't care about any of this shit. Close other tabs, just close it all. Okay, didn't like that. Oh, needs an equals. Oh, this is left to right instead of right to left. It's the correct way instead of the C way. NS dictionary. Does not conform to, oh, this is one of those obscure errors, like does not conform to protocol where you have no idea why it's generating this error. Because there's some kind of compile that failed. And again, cache invalidation. Watch this. Clean build folder. Build. I'll bet I get a different set of errors. Cache invalidation ain't easy. Here we go. I was thinking about it. 879. Nope. This is just like completely unhelpful. Thanks. No help at all. Your compiler sucks. No idea. Just conformance to protocol was already stated in the type in the. This is the problem with this hybrid Objective-C. This is throwing it off. I got a type alias here for Swift, and under Objective-C, we did this under script core data class. I thought we did it here. Did we not do it here? Script. We did it in script. No. This is so weird, this logic. So there's a header called script, which pulls in core data properties. Core data properties pulls in core data class. Core data class is the top, there it is. Okay. So we do this for Objective-C, it's fine, right? So script is an Objective-C interface. It's a managed object. Objective-C, got it, right? We don't need this. We don't care about that. Don't care about that. All right, this is Objective-C, this is Swift. Swift is doing the monkey patching. We're adding extensions to script. And it's basically saying, look, your equatable is already there, but it's obviously not already there because it wouldn't be needed otherwise. I mean, I don't know. If false, see what happens. I don't think this is going to fix the problem. Now, oh, it doesn't conform to that either. It doesn't conform to the protocol. Okay, why? Why doesn't it conform to the protocol? No idea. Just doesn't work. Doesn't conform to the protocol. There's some protocol, it doesn't conform to it. We can't compile. We have no idea. It's terrible. Let's comment this out. Maybe we'll get more information. Yeah. So notice that I think this is the guy that was failing for the protocol problem. And he's going like, what's a line set? I don't know what a line set is. What's that? I have no idea. Line sets, no idea. Type of expressions and ambiguous without more context. Really? Extra arguments at position. Well, obviously it's failing on these previous. Yeah, it's failing on those, so it can't figure out what to do there. That's fine, that all makes sense. Okay, script functions. Okay, line set. I still don't know what the hell a line set is because I commented out the alias. But as soon as I comment this in, this bug goes away. Supposedly these bugs go away. But then I get a new one with the protocol thing. So the compilers have no help here. It's zero help. So much for your wonderful static type system. Was already stated in the types module. This is not true. Oh, this is a warning. Oh, this warning was probably already there. I'm reacting to a warning. This is the problem. I'm sitting there just getting upset about a warning that was probably already there. Yeah, I bet it was already there. In fact, why don't I just fix the warning? Do a Yagni. We'll get rid of the warning. That other error was still there. Okay. So back to the problem. This solves getting us what a line set is. In fact, let's just go ahead and put this comment in here again. It's just JSON. Let's keep that in there. It's just JSON. Same thing here. Actually, let's put it at the end of the line. It's a little more visible. It's just JSON. And this is no longer true. As well, replaced by JSON. Yeah. Line set replaced by JSON. Yeah? Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. It's just JSON. I like putting my name all over it just so I know what's mine and what ain't mine. What I did and what I didn't do. At some point I won't need to do this. Okay. We're getting there. So, the problem is it's choking on this guy. I bet that's what's happening. Does this ever include? I'm betting that this may need this same declaration. I don't think these type aliases become global. I don't know. I'm not really an expert at Swift. I don't want to be an expert at Swift. Let's see if this does. Redeclaration, okay. So it sees it. It knows it's there. Good. But the thing this guy depends on, I think we have to look at our commits. All right, so let's just go ahead and merge these changes with the ones we already have. Let's do that. Let's get rid of the git. Yeah. So let's get at this. Let's get at source. All right. And this is going to be fix build. Or repair build. Let's do this. Repair build. References to line set with alias to JSON. Comment out, I replace all references with reference to line set with alias to an NS dictionary. i.e. JSON. And just dictionary for JSON. I mean, JSON's not the type, but this is, yeah, you know what we're saying here. All right. Line set itself is now dead. That makes sense. And in fact, let's do a git show. I really want to edit all these files. Get log -- name status. If I can do a get log of just this. Can I do that? I want just that. Git show. Oh, right. Let's see if we can say grep. That didn't work. Huh. Let's try this. Source legacy. if it a slash. Okay. I did this once before. How did I do it? Get reset head 1. Get status. That's how I did it. Get gvim. Get status grep modi kavya. Boom. All right. Get add rehearsal. Bridging header. Get add source legacy. And let's put that commit back into place. And let's put that date back into place. All right. Let's just find all the to-dos. To-do. Ta-da. All right, that one's done. That's not my to-do. There we go. Okay. All right. JSON. We'll just say JSON. All right. Replaced by JSON. Okay. Okay, that's fine. Replaced by JSON. It has to be rewritten because it's referring to one of its properties, which we need to deal with. All right. Replaced by JSON. What did I do different here? I think this is where I just changed. Yeah, okay. Well, there's line set right there. Yeah. I know this is kind of tedious, but this is allowing my mind to go through and kind of double check everywhere I'm doing this. So I don't mind tedium when it helps clarify what I'm doing in my mind. Yeah. Okay. Next. Really, I'm just trying to find where I've redone a type def, because I think I've done them in a couple of places. Well, one way to find out. Type alias. There's the one. Yeah. Type def. Nowhere. So it really looks like I only did this in one place. So it shouldn't care about any of that. Why is it choking? JSON, JSON. It's just JSON. Okay. Those are not my to-dos. Let's just do an actual data line set JSON. Whoops. G. All right. So all this shit gets commented out. Oh, what's to do? Although really I should just do a search for C4 Augustus. So I have my name on all these to-dos. All right. Again, this is JSON. See, this is Swift code. No, this is not Swift code. Huh. Doesn't look like these comments were consistent. JSON, 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 JSON. All right. So this was just removed from the forward declaration of the class. This is script scenes, very familiar with that. And this is the bulk of the script scenes logic that we're gonna have to replace. I don't know why I'm doing that by hand when I have this auto replace. All right. La 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 la. Dit. That looks fine. Oh, when I keep doing the search, it changes my my search. Looks fine. Wow, what's going on? It's getting close to dinner time. I can tell I'm getting hungry. All right. This stuff all looks fine. I hear dishes in the background, which means dinner's coming up soon. It's not this file. This is one of the biggies though, line seeing player view. Still Objective-C. The problem is Swift. Why does it say Swift down there? Gosh, I hope I'm not making this so unruly complicated by adding a third language. Objective-C, then Swift gets injected and they have to talk to each other. And now I'm adding Kotlin and they have to talk to each other. In theory, in the long run, it'll just be Kotlin with a little bit of a Swift, and the Objective-C will go away. But there's over 10 years of code in this repo, so yeah, it's ambitious. There's going to be 3 languages for a while, so I've got to simplify. I've got to get rid of all this unnecessary boilerplate and all this complexity. at least to justify something. Okay. Next. 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 Oh, I'm fading. Getting down the last couple of things here. It's important I know everything I'm doing here. I don't see anything that's affecting that protocol error at this point. No, nothing that's really affecting the top declarations at this point. Well, a lot of files modified, aren't there? Now we're into Swift. Swiftland. There we see it. My color scheme changed. This is my Vim color scheme for Swift. Love the trailing spaces that Xcode doesn't get rid of. I think I have a Vim command that'll do that, but it'll just generate a bunch of unnecessary diffs. So I can see them. That's all that matters. All right. Script functions. It's just JSON. Place this now. Rewrite this now. Be very interesting to see if I can actually replace only one inner part of this domain model from core data to JSON while leaving the rest of it intact, still sitting on the core data SQLite database. It's going to take some sleight of hand to make this work. Yeah, I know I could do the global search on this, but I'm fine typing it by hand. You ain't gonna need it, Yagni. You ain't gonna need it. All right. Can I say write BD? No. I could say WQ, but I can't say write BD. Fetch line sets. Yeah. We got a lot of rewriting to do. Collect line set. So much boilerplate for basic CRUD. I mean, there's so much of this that can be generalized. As in reduce the redundancy, not abstract, generalize. Just eliminate, just straight up dry, man. Dry the way dry should be dry. Dry's getting a bad rap these days. I still believe in dry. I believe in dry, but I believe in Yagni as well. Okay. We don't have them. That's it. That's it. Huh. Let's do a new get out. Get out. Get show out. Get show dot out. That's this file. Still not going to compile. Why not? We're going to run into the same problem. The script controller does not conform to protocol line scene reader view delegate. So script controller. We've got an extension on script controller. I mean, why the, all right, language. No, I'm gonna say it. Why the fuck is there an extension in the same file as the class definition itself? What is that doing? It's adding support for a different protocol? Maybe I don't understand Swift enough. But that just really just seems egregiously unnecessary. All these warnings. At some point, get rid of these warnings. Where's the errors? Where's the errors? Where's the errors? I can never understand this UI. Here we go. Yeah, so it's an extension because it's basically saying this class conforms to this protocol, which this guy is saying it doesn't because there's stuff in this protocol that's not matched here. But why do I have to do this as an extension? Why can't I just do it up here? I mean, this is a subclass. I mean, is it literally an extension because the programmer came in and added it after the fact and didn't want to modify the original definition? I don't know. I'm not a fan of this language. I like that I can do very functional stuff with Swift. I do not like the OO aspect of the language at all. It's multi-paradigm, man. Isn't that great? So, saying it doesn't conform. It would be nice if you could tell me why it doesn't perform. Do I want to add a protocol? Oh, fix. Oh, it's going to automatically do it for me. What a wonderful IDE. Let's see what happens. Fix it. What did I get? So why was it able to compile before if it didn't conform? Wonderful. Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. Okay, so notice. It knows about this protocol. It knows it didn't conform. I say jump to definition and it's like, what definition? I have no idea. So line scene reader view delegate. Where is it? Because of the way I reorganized all this, this is not the way it was organized at all. This is for my sanity. I would say it's probably under UI view. There we go. Line scene reader view. Protocol, delegate. Choose line set. So this is in the protocol, not under optional. So I'm assuming these are required. Script controller said, look, you need to implement this. But it was never implemented before, and the compiler was fine with it. Suddenly I changed line set. Does it have something to do with this? Is it because I changed the type? Let's see if this is declared somewhere. Trusty old, I don't trust this IDE to find things. It obviously can't find things that are there. So I'm just going to say star.h. Actually, this is an M file, right? Well, let's do .h. Use my old trusty script. Let's see what we get. Okay, that's the file we're looking at now. Let's take a look at the M files. There's two. There's two implementations in its M file. call to it. I commented it out. No, this is a call to it. So this is a call to it. This is a call to it. Delegate to the delegate. So the delegate is a Swift class. That's what this guy is. He's the delegate. And he did not provide an implementation of this, and yet it compiled. Did I comment it out? I must have commented it out. It must be in another file. No, this is the one that it just injected. How? I commented it out. Boom. No, that's a call to it. That's just another call to it. Lovely. So by making the commented out changes and changing the type def, suddenly I revealed a compile error that wasn't there before. That just doesn't even seem possible. I don't get it. Well, let's just see if it compiles. I bet there'll be a different error. Editor placeholder in source file. How about to do what the fuck, this was not here before, but it used to compile anyway. Question mark, exclamation point, question mark, my name. Does this return something? No, this looks like a procedure. Doesn't return anything. Yeah. Any hashable. Oh my God, look at this. Look at this. Extension. Yeah. Close for modification. Open for extension, close for modification. So we're just going to throw some mutable state properties into this object, but we've closed it for modification. Sure. This is just wonderful. It's lovely. Conflicting arguments to generic parameter T. Line sets array, question mark, empty. Oh my God. So this is a property on a property. Look at this syntax. This is amazing. This is amazing to me. They think this is beneficial. Basically making a function pretend as if it's a property. I mean, I don't honestly mind on the data class in Kotlin that the getters and setters are implied for its vars and its vals. Because it's basically saying, yeah, this is a var, this is a val. It's occupying space in memory, and we're going to give you an accessor and a setter for it. Now, if you want to override the accessor so that it doesn't represent something in memory, you can do that. That's essentially what this is. But this is saying why can't they make this a function? Because it's returning a reference to mutable state? I mean, obviously, var. It's not let. So lines give me an array of line sets, but what I'm really doing is I'm mapping it on top of the existing line sets if it's an array. Otherwise, I'm returning an empty array of nothing that I can insert crap into? Jeez, what is this? You know, honestly, I'm not really blaming the programmers here. This kind of garbage should not be in the language in the first place. They probably consider this kind of like cool syntactic sugar. Why would you want to take what could be functions and pretend that it's mutable state? It's like the complete inverse, right? We're trying to go from a world of all this mutable state to functions or immutable state. This is basically saying, take a mutable procedure and pretend it's mutable state. All right, diatribe over. It's just mind-boggling. So obviously just NS Dictionary, it's not digging that. It's not digging on the NS Dictionary thing. Line sets needs to be an array inside script. Now remember, this is Swift, but the actual definition is Objective-C. So back to script. Core data properties. Where are you? Here you are. Okay. Line sets is a pointer to a set, an NS set of pointers to sets. This is, you know, coming from C and C++, this would be a pointer. This would just be a straight up raw pointer that you could raw dog. You could just do whatever you wanted with this. You could just buffer overflow that sucker. You could cast it to void pointer and just start stomping all over memory. But syntactically, this means an arc reference. It's not really a pointer. It's a reference. So we think of star as reference. So reference to a set. This is not an array. So this guy's trying to use a generic transform. This is type inference gone overloady type coercion. This is implicit type conversion, which I think, now that I think about it, I'm going to go ahead and stick my neck out and say is like one of the banes of, one of the evils of programming is implicit type conversion. This is exactly the sort of nonsense that happens in JavaScript. I think in C++, implicit copies, like you don't know exactly where copies are. At least in Rust, you're forced to say clone, and you can see it. Oh, I'm cloning here, I'm cloning here. But you have to really understand the nuances of C++ to know when you've got a move happening, when you've got a copy happening, because it does all this stuff implicitly, and that's bad. So what's going on here? This guy is saying, I've got this next step set, which is a collection. It ain't an array. Nice help. In a set, but I have no idea what that is. I mean, do I know what this is? Nope. Nope. Just don't know. Just no idea. You know, this Apple tool is supposed to be this super high level thing, but it just, I mean, how is this any better than Vim at this point? I bet I could use some Vim plugins that would tell me more what's going on here. Okay, conflicting arguments to generic parameter T versus any hashable. So it's what's it trying to do? Generic parameter. So basically we're saying dot array. Oh, this must be a member of NS set dot array. Well, yeah, I mean, this is an NS set, which could be nil. Lovely, just like Java. Well, it's a reference, nilable reference. If it ain't nil, give me the array version of that. Okay, I'll give you the array version of that. But what I don't like is that you're trying to give me this any hashable thing as a line set. And a line set is, we've type defed it to dictionary. We've type aliased it in Swift to dictionary. Okay. In Objective-C, we've said it's type def to a dictionary, and I have no idea where those type aliases are compatible. Type alias is going to be compatible to type def. Probably there's some issue there. Let's go back. Where we're core data class. Okay. So this is essentially a C equivalent, which is just, really, this is just a symbolic substitution. Type alias might be a little bit smarter. This is basically just saying anywhere you say this, you can say this. Whenever you say this, it's a really this. So that's the NS dictionary. Let's go back to script. We don't need that. That's not what we want. We dealt with this. We dealt with that problem. Dealt with that problem. But now we're saying type alias line set as NS dictionary. Is that the same? Is that different? And we get down here and he goes, nah, me no likey. Yeah, we got lots of warnings, but we commented out stuff. We should be getting lots of warnings. Core data properties, I don't need, well, these are the properties. So this is a NS set of an NS dictionary. NS set of an NS dictionary. I guess an NS dictionary is not hashable, and the original line set, which is a core data class, is a hashable, but giving you a dictionary isn't hashable. What you mean by hashable? What you mean? Any hashable. See this, what is that? Extension line set? What? What extension line set? Is this screwing us up because I made it an NS dictionary? So it says there's a type here. Okay, okay. Oh, this is actually starting to help me. So type alias, we see it, and then we got these extensions. Oh, this must be throwing us off. I think this stuff needs to be moved to the dead folder. It's like, you know, this has been type alias to dictionary. Can I extend dictionary? Let's look at this extension. It's just functions, overriding function. I think I have to neutralize this stuff. But I'm not going to move it into the dead folder because I have to rewrite this. Well, yeah, these are methods. Let's just neutralize and see what happens. Let's do that. Let's not move it into the dead folder. Let's copy this, comment it out. We're going to get a whole bunch of new compiler errors. Let's see what happens there. It's getting late. It's almost dinner time. I just want to get through this compile. Yeah. Should we just move it to dead? I mean, it's going to have the same effect. I mean, I moved a lot of stuff to dead that has to be rewritten. Let's just move it to dead and see what happens. So line set plus flags. This is going to be under, if I organize this well, This is going to be under Swift core data. No. Where is this file? It would be nice if you could just tell me in the tree where this file is, please. Thank you. Why can't you do that for me? Oh, maybe it's in the dead folder. It is in the dead folder. I already moved it. Yeah, it's already dead. It's already dead. Then none of this stuff should be visible. All right. Yeah, I already identified it. Let's just try build again. See what happens. Okay. Let's go back to line set. Jump to definition. So flags, functions, naming, these are all in the dead folders. Yeah, I could see it right here. Dead, 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 legacy. So if line sets is in a set of line sets, it can't go to an array of line sets because why don't we just do an as? Let's just do an as, and yeah, it's probably not going to work. I mean, if the implicit type conversion's not working, I'm guessing coercing it isn't going to work either. As line set. I mean, that's pretty much what it's trying to do, right? So it's not going to swallow this. Optional dictionary to any hashable any question mark. So I'm guessing this optional do I have to put line set question mark optional dictionary to expected argument type? It's still having the same problem. Why does it expect that as an argument type? I love how I can't just open in a set. Time to go to Apple documentation. Hello. NS set. La 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 la. Creating a set, initializing a set, accessing. Type aliases. Perfect example of when APIs get too big. You know, all languages suffer that. We've seen the specs on it, even S7. It's pretty large. Is it really all needed? How much is done for convenience? Oh, look at that. There's a Stack Overflow. Convert NS array to Swift array. This is exactly the problem that shouldn't be a problem at all. So is this going to solve the problem for us? Set all objects. Set all object as NS array. Huh. I wonder if I ask ChatGPT, it's going to give me the same answer. I've been asking ChatGPT 3.5 a bunch of questions lately, and it's been completely useless. It's just giving me stock answers I would have found on the first Google search, and it doesn't understand. I try to nail it. I mean, anyway, it's been useless. It's been no help at all. Where were we? Here we are. Let's try this. Line sets, which could be nil, as all objects. That becomes a Swift array. And can I do this as NS array? Oh. NS set does not have all objects. How old is this? 2014. Okay. Let's try that. Return array. It's the same problem. None of this works. I'm guessing it has something to do with the type def. But I've already got that this is a set of line set. I mean, I see that. What am I missing here? NS set, line set, reference? Is it because it's a reference? Nullable, non-atomic, retain. Is that the problem? I mean, this reference is implied here. Let's look at the original error. You know, this is the optional part. It's being unwrapped. So the optional is taken care of here. The problem is any hashable, line set, any hashable. Objects. This is this any hashable thing. Sorted array. And I have an array that's not sorted. Type aliases. Yeah, it doesn't have an array method. This is one of those extension things where it's magically doing some kind of conversion. Well, let's go ahead and try the ChatGPT and see what it says. Here we go. Yeah, it's a bunch of Scheme stuff. Doesn't know much about Scheme. Not enough people use it. All right, let's do a new chat. There you can see all the questions I've been asking it. Yeah, QuickTime recording. This is before I was using OBS Studio. Okay. What do I want to say? I want to say how show code, show Swift code to convert a NS set of NS dictionary star to a Swift convert an Objective-C to a Swift array of NS dictionary. So notice that this is not Objective-C syntax. So it's just as stupid as Stack Overflow. So this doesn't help. So I have to go from Objective-C set to a Swift set to an array. Try again with the NS set NS dictionary being declared in an Objective-C .h file, and do not create an equivalent Swift type declaration for it. Good luck. Certainly. Okay. Okay. Okay, so this is the okay. So maybe it figured it out. I might have to be forgiving. This looks like our declaration, so this is fine. Yeah. Objective-C instance, we have that. The if-let just gets rid of the nullability. So really it's this, all objects. But I tried all objects, and there is no all objects method. So this is this ChatGPT has sucked in a bunch of old Stack Overflow code that's no longer relevant because Swift goes through several version changes. So let's try that and see what, because we already tried that, right? It said, I'm sorry, I don't know what all objects is. All right, there's the Objective-C set, all objects, right? That doesn't work. Line sets dot, yeah, all objects. We tried that, all objects, right? Didn't it not like all objects? It said, I'm sorry, there's no all objects. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see what ChatGPT has to say about this. Sorry, but the latest version of Swift compiling this says yeah, tell me this is a time saver. Tell me this is saving me time. Show me how this is saving me time. I already found out this looking in Stack Overflow. It already failed. See what it says about that. You have to convert it to any hashable. That doesn't convert it, that typecasts it. Oh, I love that it's recommending doing a coerced typecast, meaning it's going to throw an exception if that fails. Nice. Please insert coerced casts into your Swift code. That's what I recommend, with no try catch anywhere in there. Yeah, just let it crash. It's an app. It's not a lightweight Erlang process. No, it's an app. Just let's do that. That's funny. All right. Let's see if this works. And yeah. So let's just do, what was the first thing? Line sets. I can't do if let as an expression, right? I don't think I can. Wow, I'm spending a lot of time on this. This is the impedance, big time. Let's just do if let. I don't think I can do that as an expression. Set. The set equals line sets. A set of sets. It's a set of sets. All right. Yeah. Else. This is going to be our return. Dep. Oh. I mean, I should be able to say, oh, the line, yeah. I don't know why I was doing all that. The original works fine because the test is on the very beginning of it. It'll nil out the whole thing, right? It should nil out the whole thing, yeah. Line sets dot array. You can't pass this as an argument to a function through a pipe. That would be so nice. The problem is this argument becomes nil. Now you still have to do the, yeah, you have to do that. Can't make it a nice functional expression, no. I mean, there's probably some tricky way. Need a combinator, give me a combinator. The set equals line sets, yeah, the set. I'm willing to bet this won't compile. Let's put money on it. No! We didn't do a return. I wonder if I can do a return if. I can't. I mean, I have to make that a closure. I hate having multiple returns. This is what would be nice. Can I do that? Extraneous at the top level. You know what I meant? I meant that. This is an if-let. That should work. What's the problem? Why doesn't that work? It doesn't like the return. Fine. Can we do that? Please, pretty please. There we go. Cannot convert expression of type set any hashable to return type line set. Can I do this? Can I do this? Wait, I have to put the array thing in there, don't I? Yeah, there we go. I have to array it. Array it. So it looks like I have to convert it to Swift to do this. To give me Swift. This is the Swift conversion. Does that work? After else. We gotta have the squirrely braces. Is this gonna work? And the same error somewhere else. All right, but this is something I just need to fix. All right, so that got us around it. But we had to ask this 3 times to get it right. So did it help us? This helped us. Basically what's missing is it just can't deal with the original Objective-C. We have to force cast it. But again, we're coercing it. So let's do that. So really what I want to do is I want to say line sets I want to do that. I want to do this. There we go. Now the set. Swift set. Swift set. And can I say set line set? Can I do that? So line sets as set line set, Swift set, not null. Then I'm going to return. I don't even really have to say array. Shouldn't I be able to just say Swift set? No, it's a conversion. Yeah. Let's put our to-do in here. This should work no matter what line set ends up being. No matter what I typed def that as later on. So this isn't really temporary. This is a permanent fix. This just gives us compatibility. Let's put a C4 Augustus in here. So whatever I decided to be, it doesn't have to be JSON. It's just going from collection to collection. It's a map. Well, it's not really a map because it's not the same collection type. This is just a collection conversion transformation. So we've set line sets as set line set, give us an array, otherwise give us an empty. I'm gonna guess that's gonna compile. No. The optionality didn't like it.
What?
Talking to myself. What's up?
Oh, we're almost ready. I decided to do gnocchi.
Okay, hold on a second. I'm recording. Unless you want to be on YouTube.
No.
Yeah, that's on. I'm done recording. Good night. I wish you the best of luck.